Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is me Sayesh Shujatullah, your educator. Today onwards, we'll pick up important concepts from Economic Survey 2024 to 2025, and on the basis of that particular concepts, we'll also have a MCQ and the discussion related to it. Very important for the UPSC PRELIMS 2025 and everyone who is also writing state PSC grade 1 or grade 2 examination. For them, Indian Economic Survey also become important document for their preparation. Let us start our discussion. Okay, so this particular concept I have taken from chapter number 2. Chapter number 1 is all about facts that I will come again later, no need to worry about it, but I found this concept that you should be aware of it. So chapter number 2 of Economic Survey 2024 to 2025 deals with monetary and financial sector developments. What are the various financial sector reforms or what is happening in the monetary aspect of our country? That particular developments will study in chapter number 2. The cart and the horse. Horse is who, cart is who, that also we will study in a bit. These MCQs have lectures. I will give you the understanding of it and the MCQ also presented by me, as you know. So before going into the discussion, please pause the video and try to do this particular MCQ, which is completely based on Economic Survey 2024 to 2025. Okay, you can pause. So consider the following statements. Withdrawal of accommodation by RBI refers to a situation where RBI is inclined to support investment and economic growth. This is one statement. So basically we can put here inverted commas, right? When credit growth and deposit growth converges, it leads to boom in the economy. This is the second statement. So you have to choose the correct code. So only one statement is right, two is right, both 1 and 2, neither 1 and 2. So please pause it and try to write your answer anywhere. After the discussion, you will also you will also able to do this, and I will also tell you the answer for it. Okay, what is the meaning of monetary developments? Okay, monetary developments is nothing but anything in our country. Okay, in our country, if any money supply related aspects are there, what aspects are there? Okay, 1 second. Money supply related aspects, whatever are there in our country, that all aspects belongs to monetary developments. We call them as monetary developments. How much amount of money is there in our economy? 1 second. Right. Fine. Monetary development is nothing but money supply in the economy. So basically, how much amount of money is circulating in our economy? Whether it is from the banks, whether it is from the citizens, or you can say the people living inside, residents, whatsoever. So complete monetary related aspects and the fallout of that particular developments. Maybe because if the money supply is more, you can also see inflation in the country. If the money supply is less, you may also see there is a degrowth in our negative growth rate in the economy. That is also possible. So monetary development is nothing but anything that is related to money, and we know that how do we measure this particular monetary developments? M0, you might be aware of it. M1 we are having, M2 we are having, M3. These are indicators of what? Monetary supply, or you can say the money supply in the country. So we also have discussion with regard to this in our chapter in detail, but at this point of time we'll study this one. Okay, so for our question, there is two statements are given here. Okay, one is withdrawal of accommodation by RBI. According to the RBI, the concept goes this way. Withdrawal of accommodation is nothing but RBI is not in a mood to accommodate, not in a mood to accommodate expansionary, you can say expansionary monetary policy. RBI is not interested in this. It means what? RBI is not inclined to promote what? Investment. Not inclined to promote investment. And how is that possible? RBI will not incentivize. RBI will not take any intensifying steps with regard to the banks, which helps the banks to increase their money supply. If all these are happening, then we call it as withdrawal of accommodation. Accommodation is nothing but when RBI steps in. RBI steps in order to promote what? Economic growth. When RBI steps in order to increase investment, then it is called as, okay, expansionary monetary policy. If RBI is not doing any of it, we call it as withdrawal of accommodation. So here it says that withdrawal of accommodation is an important tool of RBI where it is inclined to support investment and economic growth. Absolutely wrong with the concept. Then when credit growth rate and deposit growth rate converges, it leads to boom in the economy. Right or wrong? Yes. Let us see that. Credit growth means what? Credit growth is nothing but, okay, banks are lending. Banks lending capacity is how much? Whether it is more or whether it is less. This is called as credit growth. And why we are saying growth means over year on year, or 3 months, in the second quarter, third quarter, what is the credit growth rate? Okay, so when the bank lending capacity decreases, then we say that credit growth rate decreased. When bank lending capacity increases, we say that credit growth is there. Okay, so this is what is called as credit growth. When the lending capacity of banks increase, we call it as credit growth. It is one of the important indicator of what? Important indicator of money supply in the market also. Money supply in the market, because when banks will have, obviously, as an individual, let us suppose you are Mr. X. Okay, you give more money to Mr. X, Mr. X will lend more, right or wrong? In the same way, let us suppose these are what? Banks. So if we deposit more, what will happen? The credit growth will also be more. This point you have to remember. Okay, it means what? If the credit growth rate and deposit growth rate, I'll also talk about deposit growth rate. Deposit growth rate is nothing but amount of money the people save with the bank. That are called as what? Deposits are not. And deposits, if they are increasing, if the deposits are increasing, it means what? Banks are having more money with them. If banks are having more money, what will happen? Lending capacity will increase. So deposit growth rate is more means obviously credit growth rate is also more. And in the same way, lending capacity will increase. Obviously, then investment will increase. And when investment increases, economic growth rate is possible. Okay, economic growth and a higher growth rate. So with this, I have cleared two important things to you, that what is the meaning of credit growth and deposit growth. Credit growth, deposit growth. Here we are having three scenarios are there. Let us see scenario 1. Scenario 1. Scenario 1 is when credit growth rate is more than deposit growth rate. What will happen? Credit growth rate is more than deposit growth rate. It means what? Credit is given more, lending is being done more, but deposit is less. It means one or the other time what will happen? Banks will not have much money with them. So that will lead to what? Derailing of our economy. That will lead to derailing of our GDP. So investment etc. will come down. Now the scenario 2, whatever we are having here, if the credit rate is less than deposit rate, credit rate is less than deposit rate, it means what? Credit growth is less than deposit growth rate. It means what? Banks are having more money, but they are not lending. This could be possibly that there are no informal employment is more, maybe more number of defaults are there. Banks are very apprehensive to lend people. Less formalized economy is there, less formalized workforce is there. This scenario will happen. Now, when scenario 3 is credit growth rate is equals to deposit growth rate. In this two, it is only more desirable. Credit growth is equals to deposit growth rate. Okay, why? Because how much 100 rupees are deposited in the banks, 100 rupees are lent to the people. At least this scenario, what will happen? Sustainable development will happen. Or else 100 rupees is deposited in the bank, 50 rupees are lending. Not a good scenario. 50 rupees are being deposited, but 100 rupees are being lent. It means what? On higher interest rate, money has been bought and given to the lending, which will lead to what? Spiral is nothing but it goes on spiral it so badly that one or the other day it will bust out and will not be good for the economy, and the economic survey says that the credit growth rate and the deposit growth rate are converging. Both are what? Converging. This is what the economic survey is saying. Converging is nothing but now they are getting what? Equal. But basically the most desirable thing is that credit growth rate should be more deposit growth rate than the deposit growth rate. That is what we generally want. Means more number of people should be depositing with the banks. Banks can give what? More loans. That is a normal phenomena that we understand. Now here you see when the credit and deposit growth converges, it leads to boom in the economy. Does not lead to boom. Word is wrong here, because it leads to what? Stagnation of the economy. It leads to stagnation of the economy. The most desirable one is what? Credit growth rate is more than deposit growth rate. This is the most desirable scenario. Remember this point. Not like this, ulta. Deposit growth rate is more than credit growth rate. This is important. We are more depositing, so credit growth rate will generally happen. We are assuming that yes, that is happening, but usually the scenario in our country is, please understand the point very clearly, in our country basically deposit growth rate is generally more than credit growth rate, because as I've told you that formalized workforce is less. Okay, and you can see that a lot of NPS are also there with the private banks. That is also possibility. Then when formalized workforce is not there, then IT returns people will not file. So basically the loans which are given to here will be at the risk. So maybe that is the reason what happens is in our country we have seen that deposit growth rate is always more than credit growth rate. So 100 rupees we have given, maybe they are giving in loans for 80 rupees or 70 rupees. This is always a scenario. But economic survey says that now deposit growth rate is same to what? Credit growth rate. Why this is happening? Both are converging. Deposit growth rate is converging to credit growth rate. Why? Because not because that they are started lending more. Nothing but here in this scenario, deposit money is 100 rupees and credit is 100 rupees, 80 rupees here, right? So if the survey says that these both are converging, it means what? 100 rupees is deposit, 100 rupees given. This is not happening. The deposit growth rate is decreasing, okay, and becoming equal to credit growth rate. Means credit growth rate is how much? 80 rupees, let us suppose. Deposit is how much? 100 rupees. Now these two are becoming what? 80. These two are becoming 80. Not because this 80 in that 180 gone, no, 20 rupees are not going here. Okay, these 20 rupees are being spent on various financial products in our country. Okay, people have become more financial literate and they are now investing in shares. They are now investing in what? Bonds, mutual funds. Okay, more aware of insurance, etc. So the part of money which should go to the bank, now the people are investing in all these products. That is why credit deposit growth rate has decreased and converging to what? Credit growth rate. That is what the economic survey have said. I hope this is all clear to you. If you have more doubts, you can just WhatsApp to this number. I'll just help you out in a bit with the oral message, with the audio message, whatever it is. Okay, so here when credit growth rate, deposit growth rate converges, it leads to boom in the economy. No, it leads to stagnation. So choose the correct code, neither one nor two. I hope this is all clear to you, and do subscribe to the channel. Tell all of your friends with regard to this channel, and do buy the courses which are given in the description in the form of a link. Take care. Bye bye.